prendrai assez peu de votre temps. Évidemment, ce midi, je veux réitérer
I just want to
nos
reiterate
remerciements aux
my
Québécoises
thanks
et aux
to the people
Québécois
of Quebec.
du fond du cœur.
From the bottom of my
On
heart,
reçoit un message, on reçoit
we
une
have received a
appréciation des
message.
efforts qu'on
We
a
have
déployés.
understood that
Je
there was
suis aussi
appreciation
encore
for
en
our
état
efforts.
d'esprit pour
And I'm
adresser des
still
remerciements
in
très, très, très
a
chaleureux
state of
à
mind where I
toutes les
must
candidates et à tous
thank
les candidats
all
du
the
Bloc
candidates who
québécois. Il y en
ran
a
for
qui
the
ont
Bloc
le
Québécois.
devoir, dans
Some
les
will
prochains
have
jours et
some
les
work ahead
prochaines
of them
années,
in the
le
coming
devoir
days and
solennel de
years,
porter la
the
voix du
solemn
Québec à
duty
Ottawa. Il y en a
to
d'autres
make
qui ont posé un
Quebec's
geste
voice
courageux, mais
heard
qui
in
n'ont quand même pas
Ottawa.
été choisis.
But
Je les
others were
salue.
courageous in wanting to run,
On va
but were
commencer,
unable
on
to
a commencé,
succeed.
mais ça prendra un certain temps
Now,
avant qu'on ait
we've
vraiment
begun,
pris
but
la
of course it will
mesure
take some
du
time
mandat
for us to
que
understand the
nous ont
full
donné un
extent
nombre
of the
important de
mandate
Québécoises et
given
de
to us
Québécois.
by the people
La
of Quebec.
nature, l'esprit
The
du mandat
nature
a
and the
été
spirit of the
clairement
mandate
défini
was
par
clearly
notre propre
defined
campagne et la
by our
réaction des
own
gens,
campaign and
la
people's
mise en forme et
reaction.
le déploiement de ce que ça
And
implique. Par
the
contre,
deployment
ça
of what
demande une
that
certaine
involves
réflexion
will
pour
take
la mise
some
en place des
reflection
équipes.
in order
Dans
for
cet
us to put in
esprit-là,
place the proper
et à
teams. But with that in
l'image
mind,
du caucus
I can tell
que
you that
les
the
Québécois nous ont
image
confié,
of the caucus
il va y
given to
avoir un
us
équilibre
by
à
Quebec
construire
will have to
entre
be a balanced one
l'expérience dont
in terms
jouissent
of the
les gens du Bloc
experience
québécois
of
et
the
ceux
people
qui y sont
representing
déjà,
the
et
Bloc, the
certains qui
people
ont
who
déjà
are already
siégé dans
there,
un parlement
and
ou
some
dans
who have
l'autre,
already
et aussi
sat
cette
in a parliament, one or the
extraordinaire
other, and of
nouveauté
course
parmi
the
les élus du Bloc
extraordinary
québécois. J'ai très
new
hâte de nous voir entrer
members of
ensemble
Parliament,
à la
and
Chambre des
I'm
communes.
really looking
L'image et le
forward to
message
all
que
of
ça va
us being
envoyer
in
à
the
nos
House of
gens me
Commons.
semble
I
extrêmement
think that
important.
will be a
Je
very important
réitère que
message
le
being
mandat
sent to
du Bloc
Quebecers.
québécois n'est pas
And
de faire
I
marcher
want
le
to
Canada.
remind
Mais
you
le
that
Bloc
we are
québécois
not
aura une
there to make
responsabilité dans la
Parliament work.
perspective de
At the
faire
same
marcher
time,
le
we do
Parlement.
have a
Enfin, une
responsibility.
demande
And
pour commencer l'exercice de façon
just in order
positive.
to begin this
Je
exercise in a
suggère
positive
déjà,
manner,
au
I
Premier
am
ministre du
suggesting
Canada, M.
to the
Trudeau,
Prime Minister of
de
Canada, Mr.
convoquer le
Trudeau,
Parlement
to
avant les fêtes,
convene
afin
Parliament
que nous
before the
puissions
holidays
garantir
so that
les
we
crédits allant permettre de
can
verser l'intégralité des
ensure that there
compensations
is money there
aux
and provide
agriculteurs sous gestion de l'offre.
compensation
C'est une
to
promesse qui a
the
tellement été
supply
faite par tout le
managed
monde tout le temps
farmers.
qu'on
This
devrait
has
être
been a
capable,
request that is
dans les
made
prochaines semaines,
70
les prochains
many
mois,
times. So
d'assurer
in
la
the next
réalisation d'un
weeks, we
engagement qui me
need to
semble
be sure we
crucial
can meet
pour
that commitment.
l'ensemble
It's a
des
crucial one
régions
for
du
all the
Québec.
regions
Et
of
je vous
Quebec.
remercie beaucoup
And I
d'être
want to
là.
thank you very much for being there.
Vous avez dit hier clairement que vous ne voulez pas un Québec au Québec. Est-ce que vous êtes prêt à travailler avec un gouvernement qui est déjà engagé dans l'expansion d'un pipeline en Colombie-Britannique et en Alberta? Est-ce que ça vous...
Are you prepared to work with a government that has already made a commitment to work with Alberta to expand a pipeline? It's quite clear, and in fact our top consideration is Quebec, of course, and a pipeline in Quebec could be considered, but I really don't think there will be any attempt to do that in the near future. Now, in terms of Trans Mountain, I think the fact that Quebec would have to invest money in that project makes it a very bad project, and we will continue to approach it from that angle. How can you justify, with respect to the rest of the planet, extracting these resources and combusting fossil fuels? That is morally unacceptable. How can the West accept that? How can the NDP live with that? I'm interested to see how that will work. So we will obviously have to have discussions on the details of that project. And yesterday's formal commitment was that no such pipeline could go through Quebec.
En fait, l'utilité du Bloc
Well,
ne se
the
définit pas par
utility
rapport
of the
aux
Bloc
libéraux, par
cannot
rapport au
be
NPD.
defined in relation to the Liberals or the NDP. That was not the case throughout the campaign.
Je suis profondément convaincu
I
que
am
oui.
profoundly convinced that we are useful to
le
Quebecers.
NPD a la balance du
And
pouvoir.
the fact that the
Je prends ça
NDP
avec
has the
un
balance of
certain,
power, well, you know, how could I
Je
put
n'ai pas
this?
à porter ce fardeau-là parce que, comme
I
je l'ai
don't
dit
want to
tout au long
bear
de la
that
campagne,
burden
le
because,
job,
as
c'est pas
I
de faire
said
marcher le
throughout
gouvernement,
the
de pas faire marcher
campaign,
le
my
gouvernement.
job
C'est
is
pas de
not to
faire
make the
tomber ou de
government
pas
work or
faire
not
tomber
make
un
the government
gouvernement.
work or to defeat the
C'est de
government or not
porter
defeat the
des
government.
propositions
My mandate
positives
is
pour le
to
Québec et de
present
défendre ce que sont les
positive
positions du Québec.
positions on Quebec
Mathématiquement,
and
il
defend
reste qu'on a
Quebec.
plus de sièges que le
Mathematically,
NDP.
the fact is we have more seats than the NDP.
nationale concernant la loi sur la laïcité. Dans un contexte de gouvernement minoritaire, est-ce que vous seriez prêt à aller, vous avez dit, moi je suis prêt à tout pour défendre les intérêts du Québec, est-ce que vous seriez prêt à aller jusqu'à déposer une motion de non-confiance à l'égard d'un...
Would you be prepared to present a non-confidence motion if the government would not decided not to respect the National Assembly's decision on secularism? Now, I understand that the clear expectations of the National Assembly and a large number of Quebecers is that we must block anything that would provide a threat to the bill on secularism. Now, I'm not going to comment on the type of parliamentary tools we could use to make that happen. What kind of weight do you think you'll have in the House of Commons? Well, 32 seats. I have very little concern for the strategic discussions that may occur. They may be interesting, but they're premature in my opinion. Similarly, it is correct to say, and I will certainly have a short-term conversation with Mr. Singh about this, it is true that on certain issues the New Democrats may have certain affinities with the Liberals. On others, certainly much less. Of course, Mr. Singh yesterday said, and Mr. Boulouris was very much against the oil industry and its expansion even in the West. So I don't see there being any proximity between the Liberals and the NDP in that area. So as we said throughout the campaign and especially at the end, we will do things on a case-by-case basis. If it helps Quebec, we'll be in favor. If it's not, we won't. We will try to negotiate benefits for Quebec because we do have 32 seats in Parliament and our New Democrat friends have fewer. It seems to me I've already heard that question between 47, maybe 47 or 49 different times, but it changes nothing about the answer I've already given. In his wisdom, because I am a real adept of the BAP, I will ask for an environmental assessment on the third link, the feasibility, the relevance, the environmental impact of that project. And I think at that point we will all be able to have a specific opinion on the project per se. I am not saying anything about the process with the BAP. As I said, this is not a new position. I'm waiting to see. There could have been quite a few, but if the government is a minority government, even it's a fairly strong minority, that does change the dynamic. It establishes a certain dynamic, and we'll see that develop in the coming weeks. And I have no desire to speculate as to how things will work out. I know that I have a clear determination to work in a spirit of collaboration on the condition that it serves Quebec. I am not involved in tactical calculations at this point. I think that the deployment of our principles and values through our platform is our top priority. Now, obviously, there's supply management, health transfers. There are a number of priorities that we laid out during the campaign, and we want our action to be positive. Now, in terms of the secularism bill, the fact is, it's not their jurisdiction. Just stay out of it and don't use Quebec resources against a Quebec law. Well, we'll be able to talk about that in the days that come.
The responsibility of the Prime Minister and the Liberal Party is to make this Parliament work. It is their responsibility, not ours, not the responsibility of the NDP or the Conservative. Mr. Trudeau has this duty. And there's a law saying that the mandates are supposed to last 4 years. And they should do what it takes in complete respect of the decisions of the Canadians and the Quebecers to make this work.
What kind of leverage can the Bloc Québécois have, given that the Liberals can work with the NDP, they don't need the Bloc to be able to...
I will have to invite you to watch closely how the things will develop in the coming months. I expect us to have quite a good leverage. You will have the pleasure of discovering that along the way, as we all will.
So basically, you're critical of Trans Mountain as a project, but though in the remarks you're making about the NDP, we're saying they seem to be more negative, more opposed than you are. Can you clarify really what is your position? You're willing to cooperate with the Liberal government?
The fact is, it hasn't been very clear. The NDP has quite a challenge, and it's theirs, it's not mine, so I will not comment too much in details, but they have but one seat left in Quebec, where the opposition to any pipeline project is the strongest. And they have some seats left in Western Canada where they might want to keep some leverage, which might have them more inclined to live with pipeline projects. That will have to be clarified in the coming weeks. But apart from the fact that I don't like our money to be invested in oil because it's the energy of the past and it is destroying the planet, I will let Western Canada do their own thing.
Mr. Blanchet, you're a leader of a sovereigntist party that apparently doesn't have sovereignty in its mandate. Is that a legitimate thing to say?
The Quebecers will be the judges of that.
No, but
however, I have been pretty clear, but as many times as necessary. The Bloc Québécois is a party saying, believing deeply that Quebecers would do better if they had all the powers that come with sovereignty. However, we are well aware of the fact that what Quebec needed this time and what has been given to us as a mandate is not to use the Parliament, or not to, let's say, not to make this Parliament ineffective in order to show that sovereignty is necessary. We are not responsible of making Canada work, but we have part of a responsibility toward this Parliament because we have been mandated to work in it. However, the party will keep discussing, thinking, animate, I don't know how to translate, animate a discussion and a reflection with Quebecers about what they might want this possible country to be at the moment of their own choosing, at the speed and a rhythm of their own choosing. The time is over when we were certain that we knew everything and that they had to accept it. It will have to come from them, and we will help that process as a party. Whatever makes us closer to the Scottish people and the Catalan people is good news. Thank you very much.